Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is Valley Night Live. I'm Owen,
And I'm Childish Gambino.
and this is our third episode. So, welcome and thanks for listening.
Hello all.
So, I guess we'll just jump straight into some news. Pat's been a little more vocal, streaming some, talking to the fans a bit.
It's good sign, I
It,
think.
it is a good sign. Hey, if Pat's happy, I'm happy. Actually, here's a clip from, of course. This is also I've noticed a lot of the podcasts they preface it by saying, we're not at all associated or
Oh,
endorsed by Pat or
interesting.
his book publisher.
You would think that would be kind of obvious, maybe? But
Yeah, so yeah, I'm not. We're not gonna. I don't know if we need to preface it like that because I don't think there's anything official sounding or
yeah.
get us me confused with someone who could publish a book, much
Mm.
less speak correctly. So, yeah. Anyways, the Aeolian, one of my favorite channels on YouTube, the C-SPAN of the Pat Rothfuss world, um, has published a few videos recently, which are of Pat's recent streams on Twitch, where he's answering some fan questions, and this one is somebody asking, how are you? So
Mm.
let's take a listen.
Hi. This is a multi-part question, but I'm going to allow it this once. We're going to say no multi-part questions. Let's keep them one at a time. How am I? Complicated. I mean, the fundraiser is going well right now, so I'm exhausted, but also but happy because the fundraiser is going well. You saw a theory that the Cathay would be something close to a snake. I will say this: the Cathay is not a tree.
And I'm gonna pause it right there because
Uh-huh.
I forgot that he segues into that the Cathay is not a tree, but yeah, that's kind of I guess a misunderstanding a lot with folks. I
Okay.
don't know. At least sometimes in the fandom, or
Mm-hmm.
because to represent the Cathay, a lot of times people draw just a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. I see. I had no idea.
yeah. So I guess people they think it's a tree sometimes. So I mean, I'm gonna run with that, going forward. So if you ever catch me talking about, the int of a Cathay,
Even though
you
he
know,
just straight up basically said it's not a
it's
tree, but
not at all a tree.
we'll keep
So
it that way, though.
yeah, and it does look like Pat's about to stray a minute, but he brings it back. So
Okay.
yeah,
I cannot be more clear than that. The Cathay is not a tree. How am I enjoying the process of writing the third book? The actually writing it is usually good and fun. I enjoy the process of writing. The pressure of it is not good. It's sort of like, imagine you have a healthy relationship and you have a partner and you like that partner and you have good chemistry and let's just assume that you're a boy girl couple, although that's a little heteronormative, and you might really enjoy spending time with that person and you might enjoy getting kind of frictive with them in a sexual way, and you're like, yeah, I love this person and we like doing that sex. But then, like, if your parents are always like, hey, when are you going to have a baby? 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 And I'm imagining a lot of y'all, you know, have parents who have kind of hassled you like that, to sometimes even just in a joking way. But if you've been in a long-term relationship and you haven't had a kid, it can get old. And now imagine you have 5 million parents, and every time you go on the internet, they're like, why aren't you fucking? For me, like, it kind of takes some of the joy away from it. Let me tell you, that's a weird analogy.
So a wonderful analogy by Pat Rothfuss.
That was pretty great.
Yeah, we kind of are all wondering, and
Man.
why isn't Pat fucking?
Yeah, we're all complicit in this.
We really are.
We're making his.
We've ruined it.
We've
I mean,
ruined it.
we're ruining it.
We've given him the equivalent of Edie for writers.
Yeah, right. Oh, wow. Yeah, yeah. Interesting. I hadn't really kind of thought of it like that, but yeah, I mean, we really have. Let's keep going down this path.
Hi, my name's Pat Rothfuss, and I just did a weird analogy. Are you feeling better about the book than I have previously? Yes. Better about the state that the book is in, and better about doing the work. I've managed to square away certain elements of my life that leave me with enough emotional space to do more work and have it be better work. Somebody says, do you know that although you suffer from depression, you have helped thousands and thousands of people with theirs?
Okay, so yeah, it sounds like he's doing better. But
Definitely.
yeah, because I don't know that people are going to change and they're going to stop, saying, hey.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I mean, there's still going to be at least some subset of people that are going to always be saying, screaming for the next one.
Yeah, yeah, and nothing will ever be enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Pat, he's doing good. He's feeling all right about the book. It sounds like, and he's talking a lot more to fans.
Yeah,
and so that seems to be a good sign.
Good sign.
Yeah. So, and again, this is another video from the Aeolian, and this is about
that I wanted.
Book 4.
Will book 3 be longer?
Whoa,
There's one that I wanted to answer too, but I was in the middle of talking about something else. I heard there's going to be a book 4. Is that true? Hopefully this question is allowed. Feel free to delete it if it isn't. That is a great question, and also very politely phrased. And the reason it's so polite is because the person is making it clear that they're like, hey, I know that this might be a sensitive subject. Is this okay to ask? That shows a lot of consideration. I really appreciate that. And yes, I mean, there is going to be a book 4. I mean, I want there to be, in a perfect world, I want to write all sorts of stories in this world. I want to write more, everybody. Like, I want to write more and I want to publish more. Those two things aren't necessarily causally connected, but they are correlated. I'm happier when I write, and and I feel better when I'm publishing because I know that you all want books from me, and that you all like living in that world. I like living in that world. I miss being able to be in it.
So, yeah.
It almost sounded like he was getting choked up there. I know he was probably just clearing his throat or whatever, but
Yeah, a little. I mean, I guess a little politeness goes a long way with Pat.
Yeah.
I only really see of his streams what is published on the Aeolian's YouTube channel, and so I'm not really sure what the room is like for those. But I guess on Twitch people can be kind of short with the creators.
Yeah, that's putting it
Yeah.
a kind of way.
Yeah, and so so good. Yeah, it sounds like good things are coming, and the fact that I guess maybe he gets asked so much about book 3 that it's only recently that I've seen him answer questions from people about a 4th book, which I believe we may have. I haven't gone back and checked, but I think on the last episode we may have talked about book 4, and so it's not entirely kind of a new thing. It's just really gotten a lot of traction with some of the. Let's put it this way. I expect a Newsweek article about it at this point, and maybe there is one. But a few of the creators and a couple of the YouTube channels that cover Pat Rothfuss stuff and Kingkiller Chronicle, they have picked up on this and I guess kind of excited or believing that there will be more to come. And honestly, I wouldn't care if something else got published before book 3.
I mean, he's already done one.
Yeah,
The one about
Ari.
Ari.
Yeah.
Yes. And the
Yeah,
other
slow
thing,
regard.
The slow regard for silent things. Is that
Yeah,
what it's called. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna go with you on that. And just again, no fact checking.
Yeah,
'cause we're always right.
I do want to read that one as well. But
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
I
I would think if we did a read through, probably that would be our time spent best. It seems like people, again, much smarter than I am, have already gone through and done some rereads. But with the Ari book, it seems as though it's something we could cover, and
Yeah.
especially since we're both would be experiencing it almost for the first time. Where I'm familiar with it, but I
Yes.
haven't read it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think we're both kind of interested in that whole world of the Under thing and everything.
Yeah, and I'm actually shocked I haven't, just to try and get more tinfoil for the main story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you have heard, guess Pat himself talk about the Under thing? Like, I guess the inspiration, that guy, like I think his name was just Bob or something, but he was like, he lives in the kind of tunnel system underneath of a university, and at the top of my head, I can't even remember what university, like University of Wisconsin or something like that, where
Yeah.
Patrick grew. So he had heard stories of this guy that kind of, lived, or, not always lived, but maybe a lot, he would spend lots of time down there.
Right.
And so that's kind of where that idea kind of came from.
Interesting. No, I would love to look into that a little further, just because.
Yeah. I'd maybe have some. I think I got that mostly right. This is just at the top of my head from remembering from months ago.
Well, and I love to compare this to the old Val Kilmer movie from the 80s, Real Genius, and there's a character in that lives kind of below the
okay.
dorms and has his lab down there, where he's up to his own, he's doing his own thing. But yeah, it's very much kind of a under thing kind of thing going on, which may have been influenced by the same source story, which
Or just that concept in general, because I know, like,
Yeah.
London apparently has a huge network of underground,
for sure.
that's closed off to the public and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is. It is interesting, and so I guess another thing I can get excited about is, and I don't have the source for this. I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants, but I do remember there being word that they'll be work further on the RPG game that's set in Timarant.
Okay.
So Pat and James, I believe it's James D'Amato, runs the One Shot podcast, where they go through a lot of RPG games, that they're gonna do another series, and I think a continuing series set in the world. So
That's cool.
yeah, it'll give you something to fall asleep to, or just give you a little bit more in-world stuff. You may end up having to listen for 4 or 5 hours just to get maybe 30 seconds of gold that may inform more on the upcoming books. But I was pretty excited about that, since that's kind of the intersection of my interest here.
And he dropped the last big bomb based on one of the tabletop games, right? Or with about load-in.
Yeah, I guess a lot of his come from maybe like world builders too, where I think it was from like a some type of convention for that. It seemed like he was at a con in the video I saw.
Yeah.
of him. Yeah.
He was definitely on stage in front of a a crowd.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it is a good way to get little nuggets, and it might even be things that don't even play out in the rest of the book. We may never see Viari again.
True.
In the rest of the book, but I know he's out there, and I'd like to see some of his adventures. And like I said in the previous episode, that was one of Pat's characters or his character in Acquisitions Incorporated. That kind of had had a lot of luck, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
It was afforded a lot of luck by the DM.
And he took that luck and ran with it.
He did. He really did.
Swung on lots of chandeliers with it.
Yeah, he definitely. And that's kind of would love to see some throwaway, and even kitschy, goofy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Within the world.
I love that sort of stuff. Yeah.
And so hopefully, we'll get some goofy stuff out of it. Maybe not quite so serious. Yeah.
It kind of sounds like maybe one day we'll end up doing a podcast on Joe Abercrombie books, but he sounds like he kind of wants to do a similar thing where kind of Joe Abercrombie had kind of that trilogy, but lots of standalone books, and they're kind of all within that same world and universe, even though a lot of times one story might not touch on the other one at all. Even most of them will have some characters that interweave and stuff, but you don't have to do that, when you're just creating kind of standalone stories within a big world that you created.
Right. Yeah. No, it does give you just a lot more room to move around in. I didn't realize Abercrombie had that.
Yeah. He just probably maybe just never got that pressure, saying could freely keep writing his books,
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean, in my opinion, they're just as good. But this is not a story about Joe Abercrombie. But
right. Yeah, I think it's it's about Pat. I think trying to hide everything and Easter egg it and give us some surprises.
I think he loves dropping those little nuggets in there too.
He definitely does, and it I would say that's 80% of probably the problem of getting stuff done is he wants the reveals to work, and or he's already set up things that he's going to have to pay off. He can't just kind of go off in another direction, Ryan Johnson style, like The Last Jedi, and just let the past die, forget it all, forget the last two books. What's important is right now, which could be the case. That could be it. It could all just have been a show for Chronicler. I mean, really, I wouldn't put it past him.
I wouldn't put it past him.
I mean, if he's a bad guy, I mean that's what villains do. They man, do they ever monologue?
Oh, they love to monologue.
Yeah, and that's all Quoth does. So I mean, if really that might be the number one thing to say that he's a villain.
Yeah,
it's just how monologue-y he is. I mean, he might as well have a laser pointed at Chronicler with him strapped to some kind of board.
It's
a very long board.
It's like kind of a maybe a fictional version or a just as fictional version of the Crazy Hot scale. And kind of you get a little bit of that scale with the.
You do, yeah. Oh man. So yeah, I definitely enjoy Wolf as villain. I mean, he's got to be. He's not good. I mean, it's like a job interview, really. He's putting his best foot forward there with Chronicler and trying to smooth over any, perception issues he may already have had going into the monologue. Yeah,
and that's kind of one thing. I mean, I think we kind of already know it, but it's good to kind of be reminded of the fact that he is trying to tell his story in his way. It's going to be hugely skewed, and
I mean, he says he's a liar several times. So I mean, we can't we shouldn't be surprised, but we will be. And but I just kind of hope Pat gets kind of pushes through it and can get us, some delicious content.
I can't wait till
it is.
I can't wait till he gets to the parts where Bass is actually in there, and Bass can interject and be like, "No, you fucking didn't say that."
Yeah, and I'm actually shocked at how much Bass doesn't know
That's
about
true.
his adventures or misadventures. But so I guess maybe I could bring this to another thing that Pat's been talking about recently. I mean, this is not a podcast about the Kingkiller Chronicle, Pat Rothfuss. This is the Aeolian YouTube channel podcast
commentary.
where
Yeah, the after show commentary.
yeah, it's almost like this is our Game of Thrones is the Aeolian. So on
Shout out to the Aeolian.
yeah, huge big ups to Aeolian and Pat. And also they do a very good job of cutting these down. Like even the clips that we listen to are edited way down, and so I can't. Again, I haven't visited one of these live streams. I couldn't tell you what they go through to chop this up and get us little nuggets of Pat. But I mean, they're pretty much making the news. Like I'm gonna bet there's a Newsweek article, and that's the Aeolian. They got they're basically funneling news right to Newsweek.
That's great.
But Pat was talking about J.K. Rowling,
Okay.
the author of the Harry Potter series, and I don't know where the criticism necessarily comes from. I mean, I've heard things, but I don't know all the details. I guess is what
I'm the
saying.
same. Yeah, I've heard things
They're
that I
things.
haven't looked at.
Yeah.
I haven't read or.
And I guess like there's a real. I'd heard there's a real popular or a big character in it that is gay. And hey, all right, a little representation. It's it's great. It's nice seeing somebody that you may identify with and say, hey, all right.
Yeah.
But I guess that was kind of after the fact. I guess it wasn't really explicit in the text,
Oh, I see.
and that it was kind of one of these things like, yeah, like I wouldn't, I wouldn't say she retconned it, and that she retconned it and made them. But hey, you do what you
Yeah.
but I guess she's the bridge too far. She's down with the LGBT or LGB scene, but
She is. Okay.
the TQ plus IA she may
Oh,
not necessarily be
oh.
down with. Yeah, so she puts a hard stop, I think, somewhere
I
along
gotcha.
those lines, and is
Which makes no sense to me.
I know
If you're cool with whatever someone does in the bedroom up to one point, but
and what it's
or
just
how someone lives their own life up to one point, but
yeah. I don't know. And again, I don't even care to give it enough credence to even look further into it to to get outraged, because I don't want to entertain things like that.
who cares what her fucking reason is? Right?
Exactly. It's going to be a bad reason, no matter what, and I don't need to hear it. So I guess he was talking about trying not to put bad stuff into people's heads,
Okay.
basically, and how there's a big responsibility that you have when you have a person's attention like that, and to give them a message that's not garbage, even unintentionally. Where kids are just homophobic rotely because that's just how you write kids, because that's your worldview or whatever, and it just how it can come out in its writing. And it's just I feel like he was kind of skirting around it, and I just feel like I've heard, and I may have talked about this on a previous episode, where Pat, and I think George R. R. Martin, I don't know who either one of it was one of those two said it out loud, was that they weren't going to have, and I'm pretty sure it was Pat, because he's very articulate. When Pat speaks better than most
Yes.
authors write.
Yeah. It's true.
It would be nice if you could have an editor and some beta readers
Yes.
before everything you said.
Yeah.
And all I've got is just my brain to
Do that
filter.
quickly.
Yeah.
Not quickly enough, ever.
And so I think it was Pat that said, like, Tolkien, kind of put it out there, probably unknowingly, made smoking look really cool.
Oh.
Yeah. Like,
Interesting,
it makes
yeah.
it look really cool, man. Like,
Yeah.
I could go on in so many different ways as to how cool it seemed to me when I was reading those books.
Sure. The hobbits had their own weed. Like,
They had that. Homeboy Gandalf could blow mad clouds.
yeah.
Yeah, he would have been. Gandalf probably would drive a Subaru.
That was one of those I didn't remember if that was in the book as well, because it had been a while when I watched the movie between them, where I was like, oh man, that's cool. I don't remember if that was in the book though, but yeah,
Right.
that is.
Yeah,
For
and
sure, yeah.
yeah,
Now
blowing
it's wizards smoking the pipe.
sick,
Yeah.
sick clouds. Yeah, and
Sick clouds.
and so Pat, and I'm sure it was he had said that. It could have been George, but I'm sure it was Pat that said that it could easily, and if it just tips the balance just a little bit towards, hey, maybe I'll try it.
Yeah.
Because I smoked for years, and I think I, probably started smoking with a pipe, like some crappy corncob pipe I got from a state park gift shop or something like that.
At least the smoke from that's more pleasant than a cigarette.
Yeah. I mean, but it all kind of funnels back.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to, inform how South and how, 80s, 90s I grew up, but yeah, I mean, dip has definitely been in my mouth before. Yeah, and it's
We do not condone dip here.
no. So, but hey, I'm just gonna blame that was Tolkien. That was Gandalf made me get some Kodiak and shove it in my mouth, and
No, that
get some recessed gum line. And,
it's true though. There's a huge burden of responsibility there that maybe some others don't realize. It's one of those things where you look at other sports stars, they're definitely held to that standard, and they
Right.
know it because they're told it. You can't act out, or you have your kids look up to you. So
Right.
you kind of have to stay in line.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of part of it, even with movie, people in movies and TV, you can't be a total just degenerate. You have
Unless
that-
you're in Scientology.
Man, yeah. Well, yeah, you got to keep it. You got to keep it institutionalized. You got to institutionalize your, your
Shitty
perversions.
behaviors, yeah.
Oh, I did. We had edited all that out.
Yeah.
Already. But yeah, so it's something to think about. Like in all the, so that's just another thing, cross that Pat's bearing for all of us.
That's in the back of his head as he's writing. He's thinking about his social responsibilities in the world.
And it's just like, man, that's taken another, that's adding to the time. Whatever the process is the process.
Yeah.
But, and I am shocked, like how bad people must act to Pat.
Yeah.
For him to, when somebody just asks, like, hey, is it okay if book 4, is that a thing? Like, is that gonna be a thing?
Yeah, you have to kind of walk on eggshells.
A little bit, yeah. And Pat definitely, you can tell I think in one of these recent Aeolian, videos, because that's what I'm chilling here, is he mentioned that he'd been a teacher previously.
That's
and
right.
That he would probably teach again if he weren't doing this. And it comes through. It tracks. Like you can
Yep.
definitely see Pat kind of trying to control his fans, like they're a first period freshman class being all rowdy after their announcements. I guess it's not announcements anymore. It's some television stuff they pump in on first period.
Watch this short clip of propaganda.
Yeah. It's probably an ad for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know telling.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola.
A friend of mine. I mean, it's all across. I mean, I think it's everybody now. Like it's almost it's private schools, it's public schools. Everybody watch it because it's ad money. You get some money to advertise to the kids.
Anything you can squeeze out.
Yeah,
gotta love capitalism.
I know. And so Pat's out there trying his best not to, just turn us over to the Kraft Corporation and just write it all about mac and cheese and turn it into a giant advertisement. So I appreciate that he goes to that kind of trouble for us. But it's kind of, you don't know what you're putting into your books that are gonna be real dated and problematic in the future.
Yeah.
And he even mentions how heteronormative his stuff is.
Yeah.
And it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not looking for that, but if I were, it's not going to be there.
Yeah.
Like, and so that is kind of, and it would
Or
stink.
the kind of minority perspective doesn't really quite have that either.
Right, and which may not be inherent in their system in that world necessarily, but I can't imagine that it's not. That maybe somebody like Dayden is, or going to be looked down upon by somebody. Gosh, I can't even remember the guy's name now. The tracker guy, the older dude that was kind of scared of things, and you see somebody from a. But he got along with Tempe, so I guess it all comes out in the But it's. I mean, I guess I mean, it's not necessarily there, but there are people of color in the books, which I forget that the like Will and Kilvin.
Yes.
Yeah, they're.
Yes. From
Aren't they the sailed? Aren't they
Yes.
sailedish? Yeah.
They are of my race.
Yeah. So they are. It's interesting that there's not. I don't find anything problematic with it right now. I guess is what I'm saying, but I don't think I would have found anything wrong with Harry Potter. But I've never read it. But I mean, I guess there might be parts where you're like, "Is this what all the kids are reading?" I wonder. I'm sure there's parts where it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's like seeing, watching Taxi Driver with your parents. It might be uncomfortable.
Might be a little. Don't want to watch this with the parents.
No, not at all. But so I mean, that was kind of about. All I had to talk about was stuff from the Aeolian. I mean, that's really.
I mean, that's kind of where all the newest news is coming from. So.
Yeah, they're the C-SPAN of Timorant. They've got it kind of all. So hopefully we'll be having some more content coming our way.
Yeah, maybe
here in the near future.
Maybe some more talk about some more weird theories or
I can even dig in a little further again with I think Lin-Manuel Miranda had something else to say that indicated that he's still
on board,
still working on some things with this. So
that's good news.
The show may still kind of be happening in some form or another with all these platforms and services. I can't imagine that they don't clamor for quality fantasy content. I mean,
it might just be kind of one of those things where everyone's kind of on hold with the pandemic.
For sure. That's got to be a big part of it. But
on holding and then I guess behind.
Right. And I was going to say, well, there's plenty of good shows that are prove the point, like The Witcher and Game of Thrones. That these are worthy investments, but I guess all the other ones that aren't, I'm not watching, so I can't necessarily speak for failed shows that I may not be aware of.
I've heard American Gods was a disappointment, which stinks. I'm a Neil Gaiman fan.
Yeah,
And that's a very good book.
Yeah,
But I've heard it didn't do quite. I don't know. They didn't hit the mark, I guess.
Yeah, there's some of these. I mean, it also makes me wonder how they're not just a limited series or a very short mini series.
That's the best way to do it. Like Good Omens.
Yeah.
BBC did that with Good Omens. It's great.
Yeah, BBC's not afraid to make something the length it needs to be. Unfortunately, barring a handful of things that may have gone on too long, like Sherlock. Unfortunately, as much as I wanted every episode.
Yeah.
And I would, if I heard another episode was coming out, I'd be waiting with bells on. But
I mean, it's like they start off just wanting to tell a story. Like, we've got this good story, so how's the best way to tell the story? And whatever's the way we're gonna do it, that many episodes to tell the story. And we just have the opposite mindset here.
Yeah.
We just got to squeeze every viewer out of it, and once you've bled all the viewers dry, then we drop it out of nowhere with not a satisfying ending.
Not at all. No, a cliffhanger ending if you're lucky.
Yeah, and vague rumors, possibly a movie.
Yeah, I guess Futurama basically had like 4 different ending episodes because they knew the hammer was gonna. So they weren't gonna get caught with their pants down and not have a solid ending.
That's a smart way to do it.
Yeah, then I guess that's why they had so many kind of big kind of wrap up
finales or whatever
kind of episodes. Yeah, and it worked for them.
Yep. Hopefully that won't. It won't be a case of let's just try to make as much money off of the story as we can, and more of like let's get this to someone who wants to actually produce a quality show. Yeah, that's the big thing, getting it to the right producer.
Right, and I mean, it could be it doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be a huge.
It really doesn't. No.
I mean, these are people for the most part hanging out in a bar talking, and some dudes walking around a little bit.
And I haven't seen it yet, but I know I think it was the BBC again, but they did a Discworld series like on a really low budget. I think with what's his name from House, maybe.
Really, Hugh Laurie?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe was in that, but from a while back, and I mean low budget, but still it was a quality, show because they stuck with the spirit of the books, and that's the important thing is
right. I mean, kind of Hitchhiker's Guide, the BBC version of it's just it is it's part it is its own version in a way, but
that's one thing that we've kind of gotten away with a little bit is like big budget, like that doesn't equal quality.
Right.
Always.
No, not necessarily.
Of course, we hope for the biggest of budgets for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know if I could see like Marvel. Like I don't know. I might get just because I'm already familiar with the characters. If this became like the new biggest thing and everybody were talking about it, I might get a little tired.
Yeah.
I might just be like, look, I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Yep, that's
good.
True.
It was fun when it was just a couple people.
That kind of fatigue is real.
Yeah, it is. As Yogi Berra would say, nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded. Yeah. So I think on that note might be a good place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we normally punish you guys for a full hour, but I think about 40 minutes is solid for them this time. We'll go easy on them.
I mean, really, this is just a continuation of our final episode.
Yeah.
Just continuing.
It
might continue for a little while longer, but it's our final episode.
It is, truly.
It'll keep going for a little bit longer, maybe.
Yeah, so, farewell, everyone.
For now.
Yeah.